Yes, people, reality-based diets. Um, you know, it's not a daily thing yet. It's not a daily thing yet. It probably will be at some point, but right now, it's just as and when. I'm busy working on some musical ventures, etc. And just generally sort of sifting through exactly what it is I want to, express. Because obviously, like I'm saying, the journey, right, has evolved. And like I said before, in the beginning, it was a lot scarier, I guess. Um, and the obvious thing that I would, well, the obvious advice I would give to anyone who feels as though they are going through something similar is stick to yourself. You know, um, anyone that you do talk to or do have to talk to, just listen more than you talk. Um, I'll be honest, that's kind of the way that I've been living for a long time anyway. So even the fact that, this sort of period of isolation, like this is supposed to be some type of spell, right? But what really sort of throws a spanner in the works to this type of manipulation, let's call it, right, is whether or not you're very comfortable with self. You know, Me personally, I've felt alone in my own, I'm not even gonna say world, in my own existence, right? In a sense of like, I've been very laser focused for at least 5 years. And I've felt very much alone, probably even before that. When the people that you surround yourself with do not have, let's not talk about discernment and all the rest of it, because all of that is for you to work out, right? But in life, I've made choices, some good, some bad, but I've owned them. I've owned who I am, right? And that's something that a lot of people really struggle with, and I understand that. Accountability. They say it's not for everyone, right? They often say it's something that is either in you or it ain't. I don't believe that. I believe it's something that is eventually learned when you start to understand that anywhere that you find yourself, right, be it physically, mentally, socially, whatever, is a series of choices that you made, right? But like I'm saying to you, this whole sort of being isolated, I don't feel isolated is the main thing. Like I work, I'm out of the city pretty much every day, in and around humans everywhere, right? And it's not even that I've been antisocial. I've always been someone who really does enjoy their own company. Like I'm saying to you, the thought now that I will be going forward in my life without anybody else in my life is actually comforting. I don't actually need to worry about anybody else. I don't need to think about anybody else. And it sounds selfish, but the reality is it's not anybody else that's living my life. It's not anybody else that has to take the steps that I have to take in order to move forward. And if you've come to a space where you've, obviously seen enough to understand that people are trying to hinder your progress. I'm not even just talking like randoms that you know don't like you and you don't like them. So you've always stayed away from them, but somehow they're in and amongst your life. It's mad to me, but I'm not talking about them. I'm even talking about family members who've made it clear that they do not like me time and time again for years. It's only them that just didn't realize that I already knew this, but I also don't like you and I don't require anything from you. That's humbling for a lot of people, right? Like me personally, I genuinely prefer my life now because I feel like I've hit the restart button. A long time ago, I was just a single man living my life. Even now, I am a single man living my life. I'm not out running around living the single life because I have goals. I have things I need to achieve, and I need to go to work, earn my money, and then when I come home, I need to work on my goals, right? Some people call it working on your dreams. And the reality is, if you have hobbies, let's call it hobbies, right? Because some of us have worked on our hobbies long enough that our hobby is now as an actual tangible skill. There's lots of people you're going to meet, well, lots of people you know in this world, and maybe even you're one of them, that do not have any skills. They have not applied themselves for any length of time to learn and thrive within any given subject, right? And then there's people who do the bare minimum, and then once they're in their little position, they spend time trying to affect other people. Like I'm saying to you, when I found out what a karmic was, it was mind-blowing to me that like there's people that really have that type of time. And the more you think about it, it's like, yeah, of course they do. They really, really do. Like I'm saying to you, it's not like I don't watch TV. It's not like I don't do things that are not productive, right? Everybody's got to have downtime. But the point is, like, I've never stopped believing that my life, my forward motion, my destiny, right, is in my hands. Like I'm saying to you, a lot of the ploys, plots, plans, schemes that were brought against me were, aimed at breaking me, right? But it's painfully obvious, right, that none of these people ever knew me. They couldn't have, because they would have realized that I don't like them. So you removing yourself from my life just made it easier for me. Like, majority of these people are older than me, in far worse health, right? Let's be real, right? So I was at a family thing like a few years ago now, right? Family meal for my gran, and they were trying to chuck it at me in their little sideways, just dickhead ways, right? And I just turned around and said one thing. I said, you know what? I'm gonna outlive all of you. You all look kind of fucked up. I just said it. I said it because I have no intention of ever being around them ever again. Like I'm saying to you, I used to turn up to family functions because I would be invited. Why are you inviting me if you don't like me? Why are you inviting me if when I get there, you're going to try and chuck it, right? So I just started saying stuff back, right? But when I say stuff, it hurts. It hurts because I'm just telling you a truth about yourself that you don't want to face. Whereas all the truths that you want to throw at me, I've been living in them. I've been living in them. That's why I'm so strong. Because I understand the truth of self, not all the beautiful rainbows and unicorns that dickheads tell themselves to help themselves make it through the day. No, all of the ugly truths, all of the shadowy, disgusting little things that you know your life path has led you down. The difference with me is, I accepted it, I acknowledged it, and I changed direction. Other people, not so much, right? That's the plight of a karmic in its full extent, because there's nothing that a karmic likes to do more than project negativity, right? There's nothing more that a karmic wants to do than affect other people's mind states and mentality, right? So outliers are always gonna really rub a karmic up the wrong way, solely because when they look at you as an outlier, when they try to affect you as an outlier, and it doesn't work, all it does is make them reflect. Instead of project and deflect, they have to reflect. They have to, because they're revising their plan of how to affect you. Why didn't this work? Why? Because the person you're trying to do it to doesn't like you, doesn't respect you, right? You may be someone who you think should be respected. That's cool. Go chat to the people that respect you. Go be around them. Like me personally, I don't require respect. I don't require subjects. I don't require minions. I don't require followers. I actually prefer not having that shit around me. I like people with their own mind, with their own goals, with their own paths, with their own agenda, right? And everyone's got an agenda. Don't get me wrong. But some people's agendas are firmly rooted in some karmic shit. Karmic, right? Me, right? This whole awakening process has, like I keep saying to you, the main thing I've taken from it is the existence of a hell of a lot of people with no direction in life, with no tangible goals that do not involve treachery. And no matter what anyone wants to tell you, secret societies are very real. Very, very real. And there's loads more people in them than you would have ever thought, right? But they're all weak. The main thing I took from it a few years back was the type of people that I was seeing and coming around me and coming towards me. It was all some of the most mentally brittle people that you could come across, right? And when I say that, it's more so the bravado and the arrogance, because they think you don't know something, but when they see in your eyes that you know, you just start laughing in their faces and calling them wizards. Because they think they're warlocks or something, right? Where's your magic? Where is it? Where is it? Wizards. Seriously, man, it is one of them things where if you are being targeted by like gang stalkers and all of this other shit, secret societies, right? There's nothing to really worry about. It's going to be a sensory overload at most, right? And that is their main thing that they're trying to do to you. But if they don't actually understand your capacity for, let's call it energy, right? They won't even understand how you are taking their energy. You are taking their power by just looking them in the eyes and smiling. Hi.